are now checking out
the Win Podcast,
where the everyday people
are the celebrities.
So let's get to know them.
My first interview.
Your first podcast ever.
First podcast ever.
And first interview.
First interview besides being a job interview.
Okay, so no one likes you.
No one likes me. No one. Not even my spiritual teacher. It's hard to contact her.
So no one likes you enough to get to know you. All right, cool. Well, thank you for sharing that. And sharing so honestly already. We just started. So he's a writer and an actor. And our connection is I met you on set of Spiritual Tree, also known as Victor Cruz. He was doing a feature film, and that's where I got to meet you firsthand on set. You was an actor and basically handling everything. Moving boxes, probably revising the script, doing makeup.
You got paid free.
Doing all that stuff for free. And that's what I basically, we just sat down and we would just talk and connect. And then from there on, you saw like Guru Enlightenment and you became a student, and I just saw you around the spiritual family. And then we hung out privately and we built a friendship. And then I couldn't get rid of you because then you started working at my job. So then it just became crazier and crazier how this guy just was like in my life now. Forcefully, not even asking, but yeah.
I'm still in your life because I'm in your second job that you thought you could leave.
You're in the second job, you're in this interview.
Yeah.
He's just hard to get rid of, and I just had to accept it finally. So, that being said, I want to know, who are you?
Who am I? I am Spiritual Ram. I am an actor. I am a writer. I'm a kind human being. I try not to be an asshole, but I end up being an asshole sometimes. But I learn from my mistakes.
Nice.
And I'm always that type of person that wants to fix those mistakes. I know everyone's not perfect. I try not to be a perfect person, but I want to be a person I want to be as humble as possible. Try not to give anybody an attitude, even though sometimes I can give people attitudes.
I mean, it's natural when people are being annoying.
Yeah. I'm just that person. I'm just that annoying person.
Not you. I'm just saying people in general.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah.
It's easy to get annoyed and be like, give them an attitude.
Exactly. Right. Like a coworker. Man. It drives me crazy sometimes, but I love him. I am a funny person. I always thought that I was funny, and my brother would always say, you're not funny. But it was always funny to him when he annoyed me as a kid.
So growing up, being funny and I guess comedy was always around you, something that you always took interest?
Yes. I grew up a lot with TV. TV was probably my best friend. I loved cartoons. I loved watching the Three Stooges. My dad introduced me with all that stuff. He really helped me become the person that I am today. Like the comedian that I want to be is because of those cartoons and because of my dad.
What was like, I guess, a show that really like stuck out to you, like maybe a young memory of you just like, whoa, that is hilarious. I want to do what they do and stuff like that.
A show?
Yeah, whatever you was watching on TV that you was just like...
Man, honestly, it was Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, man.
That was the one that did it.
It's not a show, but it's... I was watching Jim Carrey, man. I was like, I want to be that guy. That guy, that's the guy that I want to be. I want to do the same thing he does. Just be obnoxious and make people laugh.
Gotcha.
Just make silly faces and be as silly as possible.
So your style of pretty much comedy that you enjoy and like basically like to do is the faces, the obnoxious, like something that people don't think it's funny because you're doing it to them, but it's hilarious to you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Gotcha. When did that? I guess when did you start practicing that on people? Eventually?
Oh man. Oh wow, that's a good question because I don't remember, but I'm gonna try to remember.
Was it like school?
Man, school.
Probably started in the house and then maybe moved on to school.
Yeah. Because I would always try to act out stuff in my house, but also school helped me. If I was always bored, I always imitated a cartoon character. I remember also imitating the Three Stooges. I got in trouble for that at school because I actually physically hit kids.
So you were physically do their routine on people.
Yes. I had my own Three Stooges gang, and we would just hit each other. And one of the teachers couldn't stand it, and I got in trouble. She told my mom, and then I couldn't watch Three Stooges for a good long time because of that teacher.
So they banned you in the house to watch it.
Yeah.
So what was the backup? It was just the cartoons, or
it was the cartoons because I ended up imitating like cartoons like Ed, Edd n Eddy, like the dumb character Ed. I would like literally like run around the schoolroom like him and do his voice. I'm like, oh. Everyone really thought I had some issues.
I think they still do. But
Still to this day, I have issues.
So what is it that you get? Like, take me in your mind. What is it that you get from, like, I guess, imitating or watching these cartoons and these people? What is this feeling that you get when you're finally gonna like start imitating them or just act out like them?
The feeling of imitating.
Yeah, like what is that? What take us down that road of you just. The feeling that you get of seeing something is like, I'm just gonna do it. Is it like planned or it just happens?
It just happens, man. Because like I was always inspired by all these cartoons and all these old fashioned movies that I would watch. I like I said, TV was my best friend. So like I wanted to imitate TV, and that would always make me feel better. It was always imitating, like always. It was just a good feeling that I can actually do that voice. Like if I saw Elmo on TV, I wanted to be Elmo because I thought that was an interesting voice. So I would get la 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 Elmo's world, and I knew I could do it. It was weird. Like I knew I could do these voices, and I would show it to my parents, and they were like, "Oh, it's good, it's great." Show it to somebody else, and then I would do it to everybody else. And I just thought that I honestly knew that I was talented. I didn't know how to control it sometimes because I was bored a lot at school, elementary school. But
so school wasn't something that like clicked with you. It was like, yeah, I get it, but it's not for me. More or less, I'm more of the creative type and stuff like that.
Yeah, I didn't want to do any work.
When did you realize that? Was it the first day you entered school, or there was something?
Yeah, it was the first day I entered school, like pre-K, kindergarten.
Wow, so you physically remembered that feeling of entering school.
My mom. I remember trying to do the Happy Day song. I was picked as Sunday. I remember. I don't know why I'm remembering this now. The song was called The Days of the Week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And I was Sunday. I would never say anything. And they would be like, the days of the week. I'd be like, I don't know. I didn't know my line. Oh, I'm Sunday. Okay. I'm supposed to say Sunday, but I don't want to do this. I want to do something else.
So it was your dad that basically brought this family to you on television. Was there a reason that he had behind that? As like, let's watch television or something like, or it just happened naturally. It's like, you know what? I loved him. I think you're gonna like him too.
I think because he recently shared that as a kid I just didn't want to do anything. So when he found out that he can bond, like he also loves TV too. All he does is watch TV. So that was a good way in bonding. Father and son bond. So he loves watching cartoons. He showed me the cartoons, and he told me that my eyes would light up whenever I saw anything. So that was my focus. That's what I wanted to do, was just watch TV.
So now you got all this influence from TV, and you're basically doing it in the school, doing it in the house. When did you start, I guess, realizing, you know what, I can either do this as a career professionally, or I can take this to the next level? When was that realization for you?
So I love the Three Stooges so much that in elementary school, my art teacher told me that he was also a fan of the Three Stooges. and he was like, I can get you to do this school play.
Big break.
My big break, right? I wrote like a script at the time, and I had this great idea, and I would always annoy him every day because he promised me this thing. I'd be like, oh, I want to do this play, blah blah blah. So eventually he gave in. Well, I got my Three Stooges together, and we got together in a meeting, and I reenacted the play for him, and he fell asleep.
So you got your first taste of Hollywood.
Yeah. Fucking art teacher is falling asleep on me.
Damn.
Yeah, but I didn't know I wanted to be an actor.
So that was your first bad review.
That was my first bad review. I was like, damn. This
How
guy,
old were you?
I don't know. Third grade maybe.
Okay.
Third grade.
Okay.
But
I think
I always wanted to be an actor because I was inspired by the Nickelodeon show All That.
Good show.
So I wanted to do what they were doing when I got a little bit older. So I was like, I think I want to be an actor. I know I said earlier I want to be that guy, Jim Carrey, but if I wanted to be, I didn't know I wanted to be an actor. I wanted to be funny when I first saw Jim Carrey. But when I saw the TV show All That, I wanted to do that.
Gotcha.
I wanted to do what they were doing. They were young like me. I was like, I want to do that too. So
when did you, I guess, officially say, I guess when you first officially took the step of taking a class, like, okay, you was like, I see them and I want to do that, and you probably did some school plays. When was the first step, I guess, after school or something that you was like, I think this is a craft that I have to study?
So I think at high school, I think I saw school plays, and I think I told my parents that I wanted to be a part of an acting class. So I went to an acting class. I think it was, I forgot what it was called. Probably.
But you did take.
I did take an acting class, and I liked it.
Did they fall asleep or no?
They thought that I was very unique because I did not follow the rules at all.
Okay.
I would improvise stuff, and I just wanted to get people to laugh, but I wasn't really following directions.
Gotcha.
Then I wanted to, at high school, I really wanted to drop out because I was like, I don't like this at all. I don't want to be. But then I talked to a friend of mine who was at the school. She's like, if you join a club, I promise you can make friends, because I really wasn't making that much friends.
You was mostly like a loner in your own world, or maybe you had like a couple, 3 people.
Yeah, and by the way, I was in special ed, so I was stuck in classes. Like,
gotcha.
I had to stay in that one room. I couldn't really move around.
Gotcha.
You know? So like I was going crazy. Only time when we got out was lunchtime, gym time. That's it.
That was like almost torture.
So every teacher would come in our class. It felt like a prison.
Gotcha.
To be honest, like you're not free. You know.
Yeah.
Like I thought I was the smartest guy in the room, but when I went to
a regular
ed class,
I guess.
Everyone was like, "Whoa, who's this kid?" I was
like, why is he slapping me? Like,
I don't understand any of this shit.
Like, well, I go back to special ed. It's easier.
So she told me that
I read in here. We don't read in special ed. I do my whole act.
we connect the dots over here. 1, 2, 3. I made a circle. That don't make sense.
Damn, no, Monday through Saturday. We don't say Sunday over there in special ed. We skip Sunday.
Exactly. I don't know what Sunday is. Shit. But yeah. So I was talking to this girl, and she said, if you join a club, I promise you'll make friends. Sophomore year, there was a theater guild club. I didn't even know that there was a theater guild club. I was like, so let me try this out. When I auditioned, I said, I joined this acting class, so I'm pretty much, like in my head, I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm going to get this part.
Right.
And the teacher, when she saw this, she was like, oh, that's good. Okay, just audition. I was like, all right, bitch. But I auditioned my heart out. It was called Damn Yankees. And she was like, wow, you did great. And then I got an ensemble part. I was like, what the fuck is this shit? I didn't audition for this. But when I got the ensemble part, I made sure I acted my ass off. I was the catcher for damn Yankees.
Well, so what do you get, from acting? You know that, school is not for you. It's like, all right, like I get it, it's important, but I just need this much of it, but it's not really what works for me. So what do you get when you actually do scripts and you performing and acting? What is that giving you that school wasn't giving you?
That's a good question. Damn. God damn. Acting I felt like it allowed me to be myself and also be the funny person that I want to be. Like I wanted to be the funny person. I wanted to show people that I am funny. So when I got the part that I got, I was like, all right, I know this is not funny, but I'm going to show these people that I can make a funny face. I can make this. School was just math, reading, and I was never interested in that.
It wasn't like a release for you in a sense. It wasn't creative, enough for you. You was just like you have this mind that's all over the place, and you could do something, but the performance and acting stimulated your mind more than like books. And I get it, from an artist to another artist too. I was like, I'm just going to do the bare minimum in school just to pass so I don't get my ass beat. But this is not what I want to do. Like I remember in college, I had like a, 4.0 is like the highest that you could get as a GPA or whatever. And that means you're a nerd and you completed everything. Shout out to all the nerds. But I had like I'm about to graduate and I had like I think it was my third year and I had like a 2.5, right? Like my GPA just kept on going lower and lower. Because after a while, I just, in my major, I was into acting and filmmaking, all that stuff. And I'm acing those classes, like A's. You saw the passion. But in my general requirements, like, I don't know, writing and all this other stuff, I was getting C's. I was just like, and my guidance counselor noticed that. He was like, I see that you're excelling in what you want to do, and you're just like passing through with the bare minimum with the other classes. And I was like, yep. Like, I think he expected me to like lie. I was like, yep, you're absolutely right. He's like, why? He's like, well, I don't feel the need to relearn all this stuff. I'm like, I found what I want to do. He was like, oh, but what you need a higher GPA to go into grad school. I was like, well, that's the catch. I'm not going to grad school. He was like, why not? I was like, you don't need to be to grad school to be a comedian. I was like, this is what I want to do. Exactly. I was like, I know. I said, Hollywood or whatever is not gonna look at that 2.5 GPA. I'm like, this kid's not gonna make it for this script. I'm basically telling this, and he's just like, in a way, kind of like stunned, like, cause I've kind of like figured out. I was like almost this rebel. I was like, I just need to get all C's in these regular classes. I'm gonna get A's in the rest of the stuff, and I take my diploma. My family's gonna see that, and I go and be a comedian, make movies. I'll be fine. He says, all right, cool. So I'll see you next semester when you graduate. And I was like, well, thank you so much. You guided me so much, and I appreciate that. But it was like, I get it. Like, I relate to that. You know what I'm saying? Where school just doesn't, I always feel school is not for everyone. Of course, when I'm blessed to have a child, I'm going to say, yes, I want you to go to school. I want you to learn. But once they reach that college thing, that's a choice that he or she have to make.
Right.
I would like for them to go to college. So I will always try to say, well, try to major in something that you love when you go to college.
Absolutely.
Don't just go in there because the world and family's telling you that's the next step. You got to do it, be in debt, then still be lost when you get out with bills. Right. So no, I don't want that.
You were way ahead of your time when you were in college. You figured it out.
I think I think I figured it out even before that in high school too, because I started doing the same thing. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I was like, man, I was like, this girl Tanisha got into college and she got like a 65 average, and you complain that I have a 75 average to get into college. I was like, Tanisha's dumb as hell. Like, and she got into college. There's no way I can't get into college.
You definitely looked at Tanisha's grades.
Yeah.
Like, what bitch you dumb? Let me look at your grades. Let me see this shit.
I remember the counselor was like, you got to live a little bit up to an 80 to get good colleges. Tanisha got to a dumb ass college because she's dumb. I'll be fine. I'm a 75. I'll get to a 75 college. So
Dumbass college.
And Tanisha, she's real, but the name I changed it up. I don't want her to sue me. But,
Okay.
but it's true though. So I want to know. Now you're doing the acting, right? You're doing these characters. You're being fulfilled. You know what made you? And this is something that I want to get into because I'm catching you at a crucial phase in your life where now things are shifting in a different way that you had to like test yourself and really do something that you really want to do. What made you want to get into writing a play?
I never thought that I would ever write a play. Mm-hmm. I always wanted to do a movie, but I never wanted to do a play.
Or just writing in general?
I never wanted to write. It reminded me of school, so I didn't write. All I wanted to do was be the actor. That's all I wanted to be. You give me a script, I'll be the actor. I don't want to be responsible for writing.
So what changed to all of a sudden that like, you know what, let me dip into this a little bit, writing.
Guru told me to write. Guru Enlightenment taught me that. She says, write something. And she's the one that really encouraged me to keep writing. And I was like, all right, I guess I'll write. If she's telling me to write, I gotta write.
How nervous or what were some of the challenges you faced now saying like, I'm just the actor, I want to be the actor, and now all of a sudden you add another title to yourself that you're not so sure about being a writer. So what was something that those challenges? What did you face with that process?
I mean, first of all, when I write something on Instagram or Facebook, I know I have the worst grammar.
Right.
Like, so I'm worried about grammar. I went to I dropped out of speech class because I thought I didn't need speech. One time the speech lady I thought I was cool. Like I skipped her class and I was like hanging out with a whole bunch of girls and she comes out of nowhere. She's like, "Are you coming to speech class?" And I was like, "No, ma'am, I don't need speech anymore. I don't need speech anymore." She was like, "That's why you need speech. That's why you need speech." And it's true. I need speech. So I'm worried about my grammar.
So you basically was in your head a lot.
In my head most of the time because I thought that if you're in special ed, you ain't gonna do shit in life. And I always thought about that since I was in high school. And they would always tell me, just because you're special ed doesn't mean you're not gonna do anything. So right. I am my worst enemy when it comes to that.
So you already thought since you was already labeled by the world and stuff.
Labeled,
by the world, they're like, all right, you so special ed. You was like, well, if they don't think high of me already, then I'm not gonna think high of myself. I'm just gonna act. I mean, I can't write. So when did you start knocking that wall down, that label down? When you was like, nah.
Tree's class. Tree's class. He would tell me to write too. So at the beginning he would tell me to write certain things. I was like, okay, I guess I'll write. So his class really helped me to just say, okay, I guess I can do this. I wrote very little, but when I had sessions with Guru, she would tell me to write certain things about myself in front of the mirror. So that helped me too. And
so you started building yourself up.
I built my strengths. It was a lot better when I was with Guru. She really helped me to write. Because when she first told me to write, I thought about a film at first. I was like, I'm gonna write a movie. I got inspired by you when I saw your show. I got inspired by Tree. I was like, they're doing it themselves. Okay, if Guru tells me to write, I'm gonna write something for myself. So I wanted to write a movie. And when I first wrote my show, I was like, oh, it's gonna be filmed like this. And the way I was writing like a film. And then I would show it to Guru, and Guru was like, so wait, this scene doesn't make sense. How would you write it if it was a play? And in my head I would go. Because I'm like, I don't want it to be a play. I don't want it to be a play. And so I was like, okay, I'll write it like this if it was a play. And I finally got the message. Because she would always say show. She would never say it was a film. And now I'm writing my own show.
Nice.
So it's a play.
Awesome.
It's a play. But it makes sense. I feel like you have to start. From what I've seen, most shows either start from a book and then it starts as a show. And if the show's so good, they make it into a movie, so everyone in the world can see.
Right. Well, you definitely had to go through the different stages for me. Like, you couldn't just, you could have just wrote a movie, but you have to start, if you can captivate an audience on live theater through your writing, then doing a movie is the next step. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be easier, but there's so many lessons that you have to learn from that first to then propel yourself to write a film.
Right.
Those are some things that I learned in college as well, just writing a script and films, and all those things kind of like helped me to become a writer when I started writing my first play. And I was just like you too. I had all these insecurities. Like, I mean, I know how to write a short film, like, and I wrote a feature film, but I'm not gonna say I know everything. But now I'm running into territories about being a playwright. I'm like, I don't know how that shit works. You know what I'm saying? So, but it just became something as simple as just write. Like, I knew what I wanted to do. I knew my capabilities as an actor and a comedian to, like, I know I can pull this off, and I know with the help of Guru and Light Machine could get me to another level that I want to go. Right. So it was just a matter of just slowly just writing. And I think that's the best, things that people just need to realize is, like, don't just kill that voice inside of you to hold you back and just write. Don't even criticize your writing, because of course this shit's gonna be trash in the beginning. I don't care who you are. Every script is trash. Kobe Bryant is not Kobe Bryant because he came out the womb and was amazing. He worked to be good. Any artist, anybody worked to be good. We never see like a Beyonce when she was struggling to just sing, or all these people that we look up to. Everyone started, and any actor started off with a foundation of fears, insecurities, doubt. And those things will always continue to play a factor in your life, but way less when you start building up your confidence, strength.
Very true.
But yeah, you got it.
Very true. And from what I learned from Guru and Lightning is that we're all writers. When we first got down here, we started writing in our own books. So that also really inspired me too. And
what inspires you to, speaking of inspiration, what inspires you to write?
Honestly, from what I learned is just really just my own life. I started when I was really more into spirituality, and I was really paying attention more to Guru, and I was hanging out with you guys. The mirror exercise really helped me to focus on myself, and from there, I've been paying attention to messages. One time in my blessing, Tree wrote something about me. He said, "You are comedy. Comedy is you." It was something beautiful like that. And ever since I got that message, I was like, "Shit, I'll write a film like this. I'll just have to pay attention to my life." And I really pay attention to my insecurities. And most of the time, when you guys crack jokes with me, it's most of my insecurities. So I pay attention to that. I was like, yeah, that is pretty funny. Right. Little things that I would do, I find it funny. Like, I look at a menu, and I can't decide what the fuck I want. You don't really see that a lot on TV or movies. So I was like, wait a minute. I can write something like this. I put that something in my play because I paid attention to what I did. Right. This is hilarious. At the moment, I don't think it's funny. But if I think about it now, that's pretty funny. Do I want this or do I want that? I can't make up my fucking mind. I think that's hilarious.
I'm going to let you know right now, that's not funny.
Of course, anytime. And that's our brother.
How has acting and writing helped you to become the person who you are today? And when you think and you sum it all up and you see it, all those kind of like the lessons, stuff like that, and if you want to put them together or maybe just separate them, but how has, the acting and the writing helped you? School didn't help you.
No,
right?
School.
But how has
don't go to school, kids.
How has acting and writing helped you to become the person who you are right now?
Man, to be a more confident person, that's for sure, because I was a very, very insecure person because I thought that if I do just voices, I am going to be liked. I really thought that if I was someone else, I could be likable. But it's not true. because most of the people that you show that side to, they're either laughing with you or at you, and most of the time it's at you. And if I think about it now from my childhood, yes, it was most of the time at me.
So it's funny because it seems like for so many years you was uncomfortable with the person that you were and what the world labeled you as. So in a sense, these characters was an escape from your reality, where you was like, well, I don't like who I am right now, but I like the Three Stooges, and everyone likes the Three Stooges. So if I take on these characters, they're not seeing me no more. They're seeing this other person, and I got them now.
Yeah.
So it seems like I just made that connection where that's where you were for a long time. And when did you became secure with yourself, where you can be yourself and you don't care if people like you or not, and then you could switch on to these characters? When did you reach that moment?
I feel like a few years ago, to be honest. Because without Guru, I wouldn't be the person that I am today. When I left high school, I wasn't ready for the world.
Right.
And I fell through depression because I'm still trying to please people, trying to make them laugh, and they no one laughed.
Yeah, gotcha.
When I left, for a long time I was very, very depressed, and I just wanted to do a whole bunch of things to myself because I didn't know what to do.
Wasn't happy.
I wasn't happy, man.
And then,
but like,
go ahead.
Because when I found Guru, if it wasn't for Tree's class, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. I'd probably be stuck in my room doing nothing.
So that was the stepping stone where you finally, after a while, admitted, I'm not happy, and this right here, in a way, this connection to TV, right? And the acting and the comedy and the writing, they were your friends that came back to save you when you wasn't happy, and they led you along to Tree's class, Victor Cruz, for people who don't know.
Shout out to my mother.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't for my mother, I would have never met Tree. There was a connection, family connection, and she noticed that there was acting classes, and because of my mother, I went to Tree's class.
So everything was connecting.
Pushed me. Exactly.
It's so funny because if you look down the tree, this family tree, right? It's like your father gave you this TV. The TV gave you these characters. You wasn't so happy, and then you became these people. So for a while, it was these characters like, yeah, you can be us. It's fine. You can use us and be us, and you'll be likable. Then you wasn't so happy with yourself when you got into that world. That TV and those characters came back again to save you, to be like, hey, it's gonna be okay. Somehow the connection with Tree and Victor Cruz come.
Yep.
The acting class came where you got the attention that you needed because you are talented and very special. Get that. Then all of a sudden, now you get to meet your spiritual teacher, Guru Enlightenment, which is the final piece that you needed to now become who you are, to accept that person and being okay with that person. And then comes full circle now where you can be these characters, and it's okay to come out of these characters and be yourself, and it is okay to go back. So it's like you just did this whole completion to be whole, to be like, well, I'm here, and then I'm special ed or whatever. I don't care.
I am special ed. I'm proud to be special ed.
Exactly. You special ed. You
everybody special ed.
And he's like, I don't care. This is who I am, and that's it. And I'm making it happen. So that's fucking awesome. And thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
So now we got to know you about your life, and you share so much, and I appreciate that. And now we're gonna go into a different segment. And the first segment is called Let's Look Inside. And the first question for that segment is there a meaning to life? And if so, what is it?
From what I learned, there is a meaning to life. We came down here to face challenges.
Mm.
Everything that we do is a challenge, whether it's learning how to speak or to how you treat others is a challenge.
Mm.
Taking a step, going through the door, that's a challenge. Life is a challenge. There is meaning to it. You just, I honestly believe that you have to. Life is a challenge for yourself. You know, you're doing these things every day. You want. Now, if I'm not making any sense,
No, you are.
no,
You are.
Honestly, it's a challenge for ourselves. Like, we have to try to be as humble as possible in this world that we live in. It's a crazy fucking world out there. And if we fall for that trap to be that world, we failed that challenge.
Mm-hmm. So basically, I understand you and what you're getting from.
Right.
The meaning there is a meaning to life to you, as there's going to be many challenges that you face, and they're all for a reason.
Right.
And you just have to get through them, and you get to see why those things were in your way.
Right. Just like when I went through what I went through in school and then left school, that was a fucking challenge. And I had to go through that to be the stronger the person that I am today. I had to go through that to be in Tree's class. Without Tree's class, then I would have never met you and never met Guru. You know?
Thank you for sharing.
I don't know if that makes sense.
No, makes sense. Makes total sense. I mean, you didn't. I see why you don't like school, because you didn't answer it correctly. But
that's why I'm like, it don't make sense to me.
But you answered it in your way, which is you took us down the journey. You basically, the answer is there's no right or wrong answer, but your answer is there is a meaning to life, and life is so many things, so many challenges, so many roads and journeys that you have to go, and you can either give up or continue and find out why are you facing these things.
You just can't stop. You can't just sit there and stop and just let the world crumble. We have to get up and do something. We have to enjoy the journey as much as possible and accept the challenges, whether it's negative or positive.
Nice. So, part 2 of that question for the segment, Let's Look Inside. If you could teach everyone in the world one concept, what concept will have the biggest positive impact on humanity?
Say that question again?
If you could teach everyone in the world one concept, what concept will have the biggest positive impact on humanity?
Wow. There was one.
There's one concept that's gonna
this world.
Everyone in the world, and then once you teach them, they're forever gonna have that in them, and it's gonna affect the whole world.
Honestly, what I'm going through on this journey on trying to make a show happen. If people could see that journey that I'm going through. There has to be some inspiration there.
So long story. So you would, correct me if I'm wrong, you would teach people courage. One concept. You would teach people, and you could say no. It's like, no, that's not what I'm going for. But you would teach everyone courage for their life, which courage can be used for any challenges that they're going through, any downfalls, whatever. If they have that courage, then they could get through it.
Yeah.
Because if they're going to watch your life, right?
Yeah.
Courage played a big factor in your life,
right.
And courage was the purpose that got you to write, meet Tree, work on yourself, everything. Courage to get out of school. Courage to admit that, like, hey, I'm not happy. Courage to make a difference.
There's a lot of people that don't have that courage. They stop and they do things themselves.
So the one concept you would teach everyone is courage.
Yeah, I agree.
Nice.
Thank you for that.
No problem. So now we're going along segment 2. And segment 2 is words from my spiritual teacher, Guru Enlightenment. Everybody knows that I have a spiritual teacher, and she has helped me in my life. She teaches her students spirituality. And by now, you guys already visited her website. Hopefully, I hope you guys are stalking her, maybe reached out to her, and you know about her book and the writings that she shared. So right now in this segment, I'm going to share a writing from her website, and it's called I. And it goes, you want your child to be honest and strong. You want your child to never be greedy or controlling. You want your child to know that it's not their place to control someone or try to change someone else because that is not their job. You want your child to follow their journey. You want your child to follow their dream. You want your child to be happy and in peace. You want your child to find a good husband or wife. How do you feel when you hear that?
We want our children to be as positive as possible. We don't want to fail. You know, we want them to follow their journey, to be people that they want to be, and hopefully it's themselves.
When I hear this, right, it connects to me to your life. You finally let that child inside of you grow up.
Yeah.
You finally allowed that child to follow his journey, to follow his dream, to find his peace, to find his happiness. So when I read that, I just see like a movie of your life and how you took the time to let that child grow and still play with that child, you know, but it also has different levels that grow. That child is an adult, is a young man, and at times it knows when to play, knows when to be an asshole, knows when to take it serious.
Yeah.
But now you have that child that's no longer afraid and saying, it's okay, it's cool. We're figuring this shit out now, and we have the right tools to make things better for us, and we're on that path.
Absolutely.
And that concludes.
As you can just imagine the story.
He was in special ed. Special ed.
Still in special
Still in special ed. And now he meets Guru Enlightenment. Get ready, get set.
She falls asleep.
Falls asleep. Trying to call her. Still asleep.
Guru, are you okay?
Leaving a voicemail.
But man, thank you so much for taking the time to do this podcast, for sharing so much, for being so honest. You know, I just want to take the time real quick that I'm super proud of you as a human being, as a spiritual brother, as a friend. That you have turned your life all around for the day that I met you, and to see you where you at now, working on the show, completing the show, and now going to basically be performing it in the future. It's breathtaking. And
man, it's fucking crazy.
I'm so proud of you. I love you, and I think it's so awesome. I just want to share this quick story with the group, whoever's listening. But before I get that, where can they reach you on Facebook or
So
Instagram?
you could search up my name, stalk me, please. I love it. Jason Rambolito. That's B as in boy. Elllido. Instagram _Jay_Ram RAM. And that's basically my social media.
Nice. And we're gonna put all that information in the description so you guys can follow him and check out when his play's gonna come out.
June 1st, Ass will be released.
So
Watch the Unknown.
So whoever, basically, I just want to share this quick story because I think it wraps up beautifully where we're going to leave this show. So with him writing his show. It was 2015. I'm about to premiere my first one-man play, The Naked Truth. I am backstage. I just found out that the show was sold out. I have my whole family, friends, and a lot of people that I don't know that's there. And I'm backstage, and I'm relaxed, I'm cool, I'm collective. And Jason Ram, he is back there with me, and he's like pacing back and forth. He is so nervous for me, not even for himself, for me. And I'm like, yo, I gotta kick this kid out because I feel his energy. But I'm like, you know what? Just play your guitar, Rick. Play your guitar. So I guess I get the call, and that's when I get the energy and the butterflies. Yo, start walking up the steps. 5 minutes. So Ram comes, talks to me. He's like, yo, man, I just want to tell you that I love you, blah, blah. This is amazing. I'm going to be rooting for you, blah, blah. And I just looked at him and I said, no problem, man. I love you too. And I said, one day you're going to write a show and I'm going to be helping you. And you just looked at me like I was dumb. I'm like, you like, what? Yeah, you just gave me that set. It's like, one day it's going to be my turn to help you out with your show and you're going to be writing that. and I hugged you, and you just kind of like stood motionless, and I walked
Slow
up.
motion, right?
Yeah. And I just walked up the steps, and I just remember the claps or whatever, and then cut to June 1st, you're going to do your show. Thank you for checking out the episode. Please help us out by subscribing to our podcast, writing a review, sharing with a friend, or leaving a comment. Thank you. This will help us so much.